Welcome to Dynamic Scholars. Let's embark on a journey of learning together.
India and government of Bangladesh. As a researcher, I would like to open this dialogue further that these countries may initiate people-to-people talks, people-to-people contacts, professors, university professors, and it would be a great example that some students may have a visit to some of the universities in Pakistan, in Karachi University, Sindh University, Islamabad University, Qaeda University, Islamabad, or Punjab University. And some of the students from my university, University of Sindh, University of Karachi, may visit Delhi University or Bombay University or some of the universities, and people-to-people contacts, teachers, engineers, etc. So when we talk each other, we should have had a trade. We may continue trade. We may exchange our ideas. We may exchange our food also. So there are a lot of opportunities between people of India and Pakistan. Issues are there. For example, I'm a student of history and political science. There are 79 peace parks at the moment in the world. And there's a great issue, for example, between America and Canada. But they have diplomatic relations. They don't have such tension we have as we have in the South Asia. So I don't think so. We have any issue through dialogue, through negotiations. We have a commitment. We all are belong to great nations. India is a great nation. Pakistan is a great nation. Bangladesh is a great nation. So people-to-people contact, especially academia, is most important because academia is a positive. We believe in positivity. I believe in hopeful. I want to see the people of India. I want to see the Republic of India as a developed country. The India, Pakistan, both countries, they must focus on human development instead of spending on defense and etc. So this is a need of time as per requirement of the Constitution of Pakistan and as per the promise, as per the principles and theories of the democracy, that the governments should invest in human development. At least India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh, at least they spend 4% of their GDPs on education. Unfortunately, these three countries, they are not spending this amount as per requirement of UNESCO, that at least 4% they may spend on education. So spending on education, healthcare, welfare of the people, and the betterment of the people, betterment of infrastructure, opportunities in science and technology. Now we are entering in the artificial intelligence, this age of technology. This is the age of digitalization. Now we can deliver, the professors from, I'm here delivering, talking to the audience from the different areas of India and Bangladesh, 15,000 or 2,000 kilometers away. So we don't have now boundaries. Borders are soft now. We can talk each other. We don't have same issues as we have in 1947, 1948, or 1949, 1950. Now we are all educated. We believe in economy, that economy of Pakistan should have been better, then we can survive. If economy of India may not be improved, India may not be survived. So this is now our generation thinks differently. We have issues, maybe we have problems, but we will solve it through dialogue, through negotiations, through democratic framework. And India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh, these three countries, they have similarities because they have a same political system. We have a same traditional democracy as in the England or Great Britain. We have a same democratic system. If you go through the political system of India, this is the same, Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha. We have a Senate and National Assembly of Pakistan. So issues are there. The largest, most populated country in the world, India. Pakistan is 5th most populated country. And we are looking for resources. So I am discovering here human resource development. India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh, they may invest in humans. They may invest in education. They may invest in science and technology. They may invest in human development. So this is the solution, and this is the, we can say, and we can develop our posterity, future generations, that when we invest in them, when we declare, when we create a better infrastructure, when we create a job opportunities, when we create scholarships for our students to go to other countries or to serve. So these are the great challenges to India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh, that these are the largest populations in the human history in the world. These are the largest countries in the world among top 10 countries, India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh. So issues are there. And the people of India and Pakistan and Bangladesh, they emphasize to the people, to the governments of India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh, that through dialogue, that through people to people contacts, that through trade, that through opening of all channels of communication between the people of Pakistan, India, and Pakistan. And this is because Napoleon said that we cannot change borders. No can change. India is my neighbor, so I cannot change my neighbor. And this is the 2,500 kilometers, more than 2,500 kilometers border we have, in India have a border. So today's talk, I'm narrating the way forward, that Pakistan is a democratic country. Majority of people, they believe in moderate ideas. They believe in the constitutionalism. They believe in democracy. They believe in existence of. They believe in the prosperity and development of India. They believe in the norms and traditions, history and culture. Maybe some percentage, 5 or 2 or 3%, maybe everywhere. I don't think so. I don't have a facts and figures, but the majority, 98% or 97% people in Pakistan, they believe in democracy, democratic culture. They want to have a good relations with India. They want to have a good relations with Bangladesh, because in Pakistan's first constitutional, Dr. Sabir is here, the first constitutional amendment in the Constitution of Pakistan in 1973, when Zulfikar Bhutto was the Prime Minister of Pakistan, we had a first constitutional amendment when we recognized Bangladesh as an independent country. So amendments, constitutional developments are there. We have a similarities. We have a proper positive agenda, and agenda is a very clear, that India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh may bring, the governments of these countries invest on human capital, or invest in human development, or invest in infrastructure, create job opportunities for youth, because these countries are hub of the millions of billions of youth living in these countries. So youth have a different issues, youth have a different terminology, youth have a different phenomena. I would like to have a discussion with my seniors also, academia, civil society, that we have to solve the problems of our youth. That we have to create job opportunities in every section of society. So these are some of the constitutional developments in the Constitution of Pakistan. We have had brought today and discussion about today's India is celebrating Republic Day, and the way forward is that we are continuing. These countries are struggling to improve their lifestyle. There's a poverty, there's economic crisis, there's issues. Millions of people are out of school due to lack of facilities and etc. So today's talk is about, if I still have a time, Arijit, so I may continue.
Sir, please conclude.
I'm concluding today's talk is that this session, I'm really again very happy to join today the Republic Day of India, and someday I may get opportunity to talk personally some university, to talk with the students people-to-people contact, that India and Pakistan and Bangladesh, these are three great nations, and they have many similarities. They have a history, traditions, norm, culture, and we may follow these traditions, culture, norms, and similarities. I don't think so. We have a same complexion, we have a same ideas, we have a same color, we have a many similarities. So let's bring and let's have a dialogue between the people of India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh for the future generation, for the development of these three countries, for the development of South Asia. We have already platform South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation. So this is the, I would like to emphasize the intellectuals, think tanks of Indian government, that we must functionalize SARC, South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation. And this association may bring some betterment, especially the resolving the issues the facing by the people of India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh. I think this is my talk. Thank you very much. If there's a question in essential, I'm available.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. First of all, thank you for wishing India the Republic Day. And second of all, it was very refreshing that you have make us understand the constitution of Pakistan in a very short period of time. I know it's very difficult to articulate all your experiences of this year in within 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Sir, I'm sure that the participants are having questions, but I think we just wait for our other speakers to complete their presentation, and then I will take the questions. Even I have some questions from
Welcome.
okay,
Welcome.
okay, sir. So sir has rightly informed that not only Pakistan, Bangladesh, and India, we have much more to offer, and we mean this youth of these beautiful countries have this hunger to prove ourselves. So these discussions and these dialogues are very compulsory, even if it is happening through online platforms. Thank you, sir. Sir, please wait, and we will come back to you for the questions. Now I will welcome our second speaker, Dr. Sabir Ahmed Chaudhary, Associate Professor and Chairman, Department of Peace and Conflict Studies, University of Dhaka, Bangladesh.
Thank you, Sohini. At first, I'm privileged to present myself here, Mr. Sanjib Deb, the editor of the Scholars, moderator Sohini Datta, and especially Arijit Chakrabory. He contacted me several times to organize these events. Especially, I give thanks to Professor Dr. Gulam Akbar,
Thank
Mahesar,
you, sir.
Professor and Chairman, Department of Political Science, University of Sindh, and Mr. Prasad Gudde, Associate Professor, Center for South Asian Studies, School of International Studies, Jawaharlal Nehru University. Especially, it's a very great experience to attend a webinar where you invite some professor from Pakistan, and he in real sense said that it would be a very good step to establish the people to people contact. I attended several webinars, seminars in India, and maybe for the first time I had this kind of experience. So thanks to the organizers. Today I would like to say something on the human rights violations in South Asia. And though I didn't have enough time to discuss, I just tried to pinpoint some of the major issues. All of you know that human rights violations in the republics of South Asia are often shaped by political, social, and economic factors. If we to categorize these patterns into broad themes, we may say that affecting marginalization, groups, civil liberties, social political stability. In the beginning, if we would like to start with discrimination against minorities, it's almost common in most of the countries of South Asia. We know that it's a multifaceted issue deeply rooted in history, culture, politics, and socioeconomic structure. And each country in this region has their unique experience, unique dynamics. In India, there are some sort of discussions, issues of which we sometimes experience in the different scholarly debate, the Muslim Christians and this sort of Dalits. In Sri Lanka, the historical marginalization of the Tamil population is really important to discuss. In Pakistan, sometimes some scholars raise about the Ahmadis and the Shia Muslims community about their sort of experience. Especially in the case of Bangladesh, the refugees and statelessness. So the Rohingya crisis in Bangladesh, we are facing these kind of things for a long time. And there are some sort of debate in the scholarly field about the minorities, religious minorities, Hindus especially. So there are some sort of discussions, but from our end, we would like to mention that it's mostly the reasons are political. Where Mr. Professor Akbar rightly said that historically we have a very closeness and good tie. We have common heritage, common experience through the development of the civilizations and homogeneity and in the different sort of culture and our experience is one of the things we should mention. But mostly our dividations in these sides is we would like to mention as political. So different political parties try to bring this kind of things mostly for the political reasons with few exceptions. Gender-based violence and inequality, we know it's also very common in different sort of countries in South Asia. We know that according to the theory of Garthof this region, the South Asian regions, their power distance is little high. So for that reason, honor killings, dowry-related deaths, rape, domestic violence, these things are very common in different countries. And especially in some countries like Bangladesh, India, Nepal, child marriage and trafficking, these sort of things are very high. Suppression of civil liberties. If we go through the newspapers and different sort of scholarly articles, we found that freedom of expression and press in most of countries are not in situation, and we just go to the data of Freedom House, we will get the opportunity, the ranking of different countries there. And Bangladesh is not in a stage that we can be proud of the situation here in different sort of ways. Digital surveillance and restrictions on internet access during protest and unrest is a common thing. So, especially we know the situation in some sort of protest unrest here and there, and this kind of shutdown, internet shutdowns, kind of things usually happen in sort of ways. In the political repression, there is a common tendency suppression of the opposition party activists and especially the human rights defenders through arbitrary arrest and intimidation. So these kind of things we experienced a lot, especially I would like to mention in Bangladesh, where the situation that favorable for long time. So the protesters facing violent crackdowns against demonstrators in different. If you can please mute.
Yeah, Gulam Akbar sir, can you just mute yourself?
Okay. So armed conflicts and state violence in one thing, where different sort of militarization and conflict zones, especially we can mention the situation of Kashmir or the Balochistan in Pakistan in different newspapers. So this kind of news is regularly highlighted, and the post-war situation in Sri Lanka. In the case of Bangladesh, the situation in our hill tracts is not in most of the cases. There are some sort of rivalries, armed rivalries especially, and there are different rival groups. They are very active in that region. And in the case of economic exploitation, we know about the situation of labor exploitation and the modern slavery. Different sort of laborers, especially in we can mention the case of garment workers here. So there are different sort of labor exploitation we found, and especially if we would like to mention the situation in Bangladesh. So still we don't have a proper salary structure for them, and there are different sort of exploitation in different sectors. And compliance for the garment industry, it is one of the main issue which the um, Western countries they always raise to bring on table for the discussion and to ensure the rights of the garment workers. And some people say that these things are in a way modern slavery, where there are some other sectors like the agriculture, bleach, uh, cleans, and uh, textiles is also we can mention in different countries as well. Maybe you also know the situation and the Rana Plaza collapse in Bangladesh a few years back, uh, which portray the poor working conditions and lack of safety regulations in our country. And the land disposition and development projects is another one, where displacement of indigenous populations and rural communities due to large scale infrastructure and mining projects in different countries like India and Nepal, Bangladesh, also you can mention, especially in the uh, northern side of Bangladesh. The situation is not at all satisfactory, where we are witnessing the situation of drought. And the one of the main cause of this the Tista berets, the situation was dramatically changed, and it's changed the life of many people, those who engaged themselves in different side of agriculture. And if you mention the situation, their climate is also changing gradually, and the people, those who are engaged with different sort of agricultural activities, I may say that they forced to change their occupation as well. The situation in the southern region of Bangladesh, due to salinity and some other things, is not also satisfactory at all. We have different initiatives there, but still the situation is not satisfactory. Especially if we would like to discuss something on the human rights violation or the democracy in South Asia, we need to discuss about the institutional failures. Most of the democratic institutions in different countries are not working properly, with few exceptions in India or in some other countries. But the thing is, the judicial and institutional failure, it usually allow perpetrators of human rights violations to go unpunished. And the conviction rate of different cases, especially we mentioned Bangladesh, is not satisfactory at all, because there are some sort of mechanisms, the lack of arrangements and the rules and regulations, the situation of the police department, these things are very much related to this. And you also know that delayed justice in cases of mob lynching or the caste violence, sexual assault, these things also we need to mention to understand the situation. And in different countries of South Asia, corruption and police brutality, we should mention very clearly, because we know the situation in different countries and how the state machinery using police forces against their citizens, and these structural violence, these kind of things are happening every now and then in rural or urban areas. Corruption and police brutality, corruption within law enforcement agencies, leading to, especially in Bangladesh, I should mention extrajudicial killings, custodial deaths, and extortion. And the situation was worse for, we may say, a few decades. So there are different sort of experience we are going through, where we tried our level best to get the attention of the international community. And you may go through different sort of scholarly papers there, where journalists, human rights activists, civil society members, they were not in a position to raise their voice against different sort of political party. So this is not, I may mention, stick to any single political parties. Most of the political parties, those who were active in for the last 30 years, they were involved themselves in different sort of ways. But the situation in the last decade um, uh, is a very, last era especially is a worst one, and the civilizations and the rights of the citizens, it's hampered in different sort of ways. In the land and resource rights, we may mention the marginalization of indigenous communities. You may know that there are different sort of rules and regulations which we inherited from the British period. So the indigenous people, those who are residing in different parts of the country, in the plainland as well as in the hilly areas, their rights, land and the resource rights is violated in different sort of ways. And we also know these kinds of situation these groups are facing in India, Nepal, and some other countries as well. So they have their specific dynamics, specific dimensions, but the civil society members and some other organizations, those who were very active in that region, they are trying their level best to get the attention of international community as well as the organizations, those who are specifically working against human rights violations. So exploitation of individual lands for mining, logging, and other development projects in India, Nepal, and Bangladesh. we should mention, and the limited representations of indigenous groups in decision making process is also very important. In South Asia, we mostly try to engage the indigenous group or indigenous community in number only. But in real sense, in the decision making process and to ensure their rights in different sort of ways, still are not in a favorable situation. And in other way, climate vulnerabilities and the human rights, the situation of climate refugees and displacement I mentioned earlier. And on top of that, I would like to add the rising sea levels, floods, and other climate-related disasters are also important, and it's disproportionately affect poorer and marginalized populations in Bangladesh, India, and Maldives. The livelihood destruction, agricultural workers in Nepal, India, and Pakistan face precarious livelihoods due to drought and erratic weather patterns. I mentioned earlier about the situation in our northern region, and this also the situation in some other countries of South Asia as well. So we know by born as human being, we have some rights according to the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, 1948. Every country, those who are signatory of this proclamation, they need to abide some rules and um, ensure the human rights of their citizens. So when you are running a state, of course, there are some sort of limitations, but the thing is, the state should try their level best to ensure the rights of the citizens. We have different advocacy initiatives. We have different sort of engagement with the uh, organizations of Western world. But the thing is, these things are not enough. I would like to mention that in the case of the regional approach, in South Asia, we are not in a position and we are not successful to ensure the regional approach of human rights for the South Asian countries, while and especially not for the Asian countries as well. But in the case of Africa or Latin America, Europe, they had the opportunity and drive to define their lens to identify the operationalization of definition of human rights, and they have different sort of regional approach as well. But we are in common different things, common heredity, culture, this sort of things. But the thing is, still for not having a good relationship with most of the countries in South Asia, we were not able to establish the regional approach. And it's a great opportunity for me to hear from Professor Akbar as well, where he mentioned several times about the people to people contact. In one international conference in China, we also discussed about this kind of things. So people to people contact at this moment is not only important for South Asia, it's also important for the Asia, for the development of the Asia Pacific region as well. So we have commonality, and if we can establish people to people contact more, we are sure that someday the situation will be changed, which is existed in a different sort of ways, having different sort of dynamics as well. So in brief, this is my presentation and understanding. If you have more questions, I would like to ask.
Thank you, sir. I'm sure everyone has some questions or doubts. And thank you for introducing us to the power dynamics of the South Asian countries. And there is very difficulty among the South Asian countries to cooperate because as these countries have witnessed in the past few years had witnessed plenty of bloodshed. So to have this person to person or this dialogue, we need to build the trust and cooperation first. And thank you for stressing the importance of the civil society, as we are the part of civil society, and it is the responsibility of us to uphold the rights, particularly the human rights of the South Asian nations, and not just aspire to associate ourselves with the European nations or the UK. Sir, we will come back to you for the question answer round. Thank you very much for your presentation. Now, I would like to invite our third speaker, Dr. Om Prasad Gare, Associate Professor, Center for South Asian Studies, School of International Studies, Jawaharlal Nehru University, New Delhi, India.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Sohini.
Yes.
Respected Mr. Sanjib Deb, Professor Gulam Akbar Mahesar, Dr. Sabir Ahmed, Mr. Arijit Chakrabory, and all those who are present here. A very good evening to one and all. First of all, let me congratulate everyone here for on the occasion of the 76th Republic Day of India. It is the very apt occasion for us to have this program. I should congratulate and appreciate the organizers for planning this talk on this very day and invited guest speakers from three different countries in South Asia: Pakistan, Bangladesh, and India. Let me express my thanks to the Global Academy for giving me this opportunity and give this platform to interact with my fellow speakers and also to listen to them, their viewpoints and the polity, both in Pakistan and Bangladesh. So, since it is the Republic Day for India, and as Professor Akbar has rightly touched upon the constitutional provisions which are prevalent in Pakistan and the current situation in Bangladesh, as put forward by Dr. Sabir Ahmad, it becomes very important for us to understand from the political science point of view. I'm sure Professor Akbar would be an expert in commenting upon the constitution, as he has mentioned in his lecture. The word constitutionalism and the word which is related to the constitutionalism, the democracy, and the republic. So when we talk about the republic, as Professor Akbar said, that it is not very new to the Indian subcontinent, particularly to when we look into the ancient times when where India and present-day Bangladesh and Pakistan were part of. The mentioning of the republic in the ancient text needs to be re-looked into, remembered into to look into the concept of republic and the historical connectivities that the subcontinent has. So though the word republic was not directly used, several Indian texts have mentioned about the terms like Gana and Sangha, and they referred them as the assemblies of the people and the group of the society governing themselves without any kind of monarch or monarchical system. So these mentionings, like in the Buddhist and Jainist text that we can see, particularly when we look into the Buddhist text of the Anguttara Nikaya, which has mentioned about the 16 Mahajanpadas, where they have said that the people used to come together and take decisions and act like a real republics rather than the monarchies, and they have used the words like Sabha and Sangha to refer to give the reference to this kind of republics. And when we look into the Jataka stories, tales, which have described the functioning of the republican assemblies in the ancient times, and they have mentioned that the decisions used to be taken by the members of these Janpadas and these people. And little later, when we look into the Chanakya's Arthashastra, where they have given the very detailed description of the Ganas or the republican states and the structure of the governance system that existed in those states, and even they have discussed about the strategies in dealing with these kind of democratic states in diplomatically and militarily by the monarchs. And so the distinction that was given by Kautilya in the Arthashastra between the monarchies, which are referred as the Rajas, or the republics, which are referred as the Ganas, highlighted the very distinct, unique political and administrative systems that were practiced during those times. Even in the Mahabharata, also we can see the mentioning of the tribal republics like the Vrishnis, who were governed collectively by the council rather than a king. So uh, these ancient texts gives us the political processes that the subcontinent had within themselves, apart from having the monarchies. And the Ashoka's inscriptions, which belong to the third century, also referred about the interactions that his kingdom had with the tribal groups. These tribal groups were described as the assemblies, and they followed the traditions of the self-governance in certain regions of the kingdom. And Panini's Ashtadhyayi also has mentioned about the Gana in his work, so indicating the presence of the republican system in many parts of the country, particularly in the regions of the northwest frontier province of Pakistan, the Kandahar region of Afghanistan, and the Punjab region of India. Right. So if you look into these writings, we can find out certain key features where we can see that those republics used to have the collective decision process, which used to be carried out through the assembly or the council of representatives who were nominated or elected by the people. Then they had the elected bodies in the form of the assemblies. Uh, Most of the time, these elective bodies would represent the people, the consensus-based governance, and the rule of law, particularly. So these are which are the essential conditions for any kind of democracy that we see today. Could be seen mentioned in the ancient texts of the Indian literature, and they also highlight the most important feature of any kind of republic or democracy, that is the participatory governance and the collective decision making in the political, as one of the important political traditions that we can see in the India, in the subcontinent of the South Asia. So the diversity of the political systems, whether it is a monarchy or a republic, they have existed simultaneously and also maintained relations with each other. So thus, the word, when we look into the word republic, thus it conveys the relationship between the people and the ruler, the state and subjects, or the governed or the governor in the polity. And if you look into the writings of the ancient Greek scholars like Plato, particularly his famous work like the Crito, which has provided us a very important description of how the Greek city-states used to function, and particularly the Crito has given us the account of the debate that took place between the Socrates and his and his disciples, particularly in the year 399 before Christ. The Athenian jury, when it found Socrates guilty of corrupting the morals of the people, the youth, for which he was condemned to death. According to Plato's account, Socrates' friends have arranged his escape, but he have chosen to stay back. And the discussion that took place between the Socrates and his subjects could be traced to the foundations for what we see today, the explanation between of the relationship between the people and the state. First, the accounts uh, uh, gives us the what Socrates has maintained, that his long residence in a particular place has given that platform for him to make an understanding of the laws that the society has commanded, and though the adherence that as an individual he is towards those social norms which has given the account of the social contract or the consent that he has towards to the particular society or the polity. Secondly, the Socrates account also says that since he has taken birth in the particular society, he was nurtured by the society has provided, the state has provided all basic facilities and necessities that that one individual would have. The gratitude would be there, should always be there between the individual and the society or the state, which would consider as an essential part of the relationship between the state and the people. So any kind of disobedience towards the laws or any kind of disregard by the state towards the people would be very inappropriate. Thirdly, we can also find the fair play theory, which suggests that disobedience would be a kind of mistreatment towards the fellow citizens. So finally, we can also find the theory of utilitarianism, where the laws and the state confronting with the challenge with if one person disobeys the law, for the person who have part of making that law would be very disregarding towards that own laws which were made by the people, and that would collapse the entire social structure and political structure. So these are the 4 points that were not though fully developed at that particular point of time, but Krito's accounts will give us the important concepts that were later on developed into the various political theories, whether it was the commitment towards the obligations of the individuals towards the state, or the obligations of the state towards the individuals, whether it is the gratitude or fair play or utility. The theories that have come up in the later periods of time, and which have also become the founding principles of the concept of the democracy and constitutionalism in the subsequent periods. So, for the sake of looking into the democracy and the constitutionalism from that point of view, would be essentially required conditions for us to understand the political systems and the polity that is prevalent to us in the contemporary South Asian situation. And when we talk about the constitutionalism or the constitution, those are not just the legal documents, but also the constitutions, also the representatives of the moralities, the moral principles, and the political structures, the social structures in which the social and the state relations exist, and the relations between the governed and the governor also exist. So the constitutional provisions, therefore, should be considered as the paramount or the fundamental law according to the constitutionalism, and where in certain circumstances this constitutional law itself, whenever it is inadequate, but the nature of democracy would give that constitution an opportunity to evolve itself, thus giving the constitution the life. That is why the constitutions are successful when they are living constitutions, and that is why the amendments are necessary for the countries to carry out the changes within itself in constitutions. The structures of the modern states, particularly in South Asian countries, can be seen divided into three important organs: the executive, the legislative, or the judicial bodies. And commonly accepted notion that these bodies have their powers separated to each other, and it does not mean that the separation of powers would be working would mean that these bodies will work independently, but they should work interdependently. Then only the real polity will be successful, and the idea of limited government that the constitutionalism provides is the idea that the supremacy of law prevails, and together all these things can become into the evolution of the concept of the constitutionalism, which is there, which is fundamental principle behind the successful democracies in the world, and particularly which can also be implied for in case of South Asia. So the constitutionalism is an idea that the government should be limited in its powers, and the authority depends upon the observation of these limitations. And the constitution thus is both a legal and moral framework which sets off these powers and their limitations. And this framework must represent the will of the people and should therefore be arrived at the consensus of the will of the people, representing the people irrespective of their differences, irrespective of their diversities, whether it is the majority or the minority. And the real essence of the constitutionalism thus talks about the principles of the equality. And if you look into the David Feldman's argument in the sense is that the touchstone of the constitutionalism is the concept of limited government under the higher law. So the constitutionalism's limited government or the limitations of the government is antithesis to the arbitrary powers that the leader of the polity will get. And the constitutionalism thus recognizes the need for the government with powers built in to put some limitations on the powers that the state has. And the antithesis of this constitutionalism is the despotism, where the government, which goes beyond this limit, loses its authority, its limit legitimacy, and therefore it prevents the basic freedoms of the individuals, and of course the periodic elections and the restrictions on the authorities of the certain sections of the group or powers, whether these sections would be institutions in themselves or the organs of or themselves. And thus the term constitution consists the set of rules, norms, the structures which would be used for the governance, and the norms to create the modernities into the constitution, right? And also, of course, the delimiting the power of the authorities. And constitutionalism, in this sense, is richer, that the government and should be limited in its powers, and at the same time, the authority depends on observing these limitations which were prescribed in the constitution. In that sense, the constitution is both descriptive and prescriptive. The descriptive constitution, in the sense that it would derive its fundamental principles and objectives based on the historical struggles or history that the state has undergone, which were used to build right the constitution. And prescriptive in the sense it would give the solution to the problems or adopt the changes that the society undergoes from time to time. Whenever this fails, you can see the conflicts, the struggles, and the discrimination that we can see observe in the South Asian context in the last couple of years. And the nature of the constitutionalism is thus the comparison that takes place between the two authoritarian theories that we can see, first particularly from Thomas Hobbes to John Locke, who have defended the notion of the constitutionally unlimited sovereignty from different perspectives. One has vested the authority in the hands of the sovereign authority, other has vested the authority in the hands of the people. And the John Austin's theory of the legal sovereignty also talked about the real authority that should be vested, whether in the people or in the body or the constitution, irrespective of where the authority locates. When it is located in the hands of the constitution, the constitutional norms and laws should be followed rigidly. and that's what gives the Constitution the command to give the directions to the people and to the governors or the state. And in that sense, the constitutionalism is very extremely important for South Asian in the South Asian context. Most often, the South Asia since was under the colonial rule for a period of time, from where we have also collected the memories of governance or the modern British prescriptions of the constitutional based governance from the charter acts themselves. The writtenness or unwrittenness of the constitution, also many scholars they believe that constitutional rules do not exist unless they are written somewhere or enshrined in the written documents, and others argue that the constitution can be unwritten, and so it, obviously they cite the constitution of the United Kingdom, though the United Kingdom has nothing resembling the written constitution like the American Constitution, and but the Bill of Rights nevertheless they contains the number of written instruments, particularly the in the form of the central arguments of the Constitution, whether it is the Magna Carta of the 1215 or the which can be considered as one of the earliest documents of the British Constitution. Other constitutions like the Bill of the Rights of 1689 and or the Petition of Rights of the 1628. The whether it is the written constitution or the unwritten constitution, the importance of the constitutionalism lies in following the constitution, but at the same time the constitutions however have the unwritten constitutions may not be having any kind of constraints themselves. In order to guard against the violations of the constitution and the violations against the spirit of the constitution, there are certain sets of institutional arrangements as prescribed by Louis Henkins, who defines the constitutionalism, who says that the constitution should have certain very important elements. Particularly, he identified 9 very important elements. One, the government according to the constitution. The successful constitutions will prevail only when the governments are elected as per the constitutional norms and as the prescriptions of the constitution. Secondly, he also identified the importance of the separation of powers, not infringement upon intrusion into the each other's spheres, the sovereignty of the people, and the democratic government, the constitutional review, the independent judiciary, the limited government, subject to the will of the people's rights, controlling the police, civilian control of the military, and no state power or very limited and strictly controlled power of the state to suspend the operations of the some of the or the whole of the or the entire constitution. So these are the very important 9 pillars of the elements of the constitutionalism that Louis Henkin gives us. And broadly speaking, we can categorize them into 2 groups. One group concerns about the power construction, and other group talking about the power lodging. Right? The 2 groups deals with the institutional arrangements and say that the institutions, when they work together to ensure the supremacy of the constitution and also to ensure the limitations of the government, then only the protection of the basic freedoms of the people, the rights of the people can be guaranteed, and hence it gives us the fair idea that how important it is for the constitution to explain its supremacy, to give the directions to the people, to the polity, to follow the constitution, and also gives us an explanation the realities that we see today, particularly when we see the conflict, which is the outcome of the uneven distribution of the resources. Whenever people they feel that they are not part of the polity or they have been reduced or subjugated, then the revolt takes place, and the conflict is the outcome of that the dissatisfaction, which is very much prevalent in many parts of the South Asian countries that we can see. And hence the authoritarian governments are by their way, by very nature, are very unconstitutional, and such governments can think themselves as the above the law, and therefore no necessary for them to have the separation of powers or representative governments that we can see in many parts of the South Asian polity. The people's sovereignty, which is to be exercised or only exists, they are two different things. The representative form of the government can ensure the people representation adequately in the polity, and the representative form of government can also give us the government which is elected by the people, and the government which functions according to the constitutional principles can guarantee the freedoms, the rights that the people aspire for when they elect their government. And in this way, very important basic link between the constitution and democracy can be found, particularly when we look into the constitutionalism. Just having the constitution does not make any sense, or the states will not become constitutional having the constitutions. Having the political parties and elections does not make the governments democratic. We have ample number of examples in South Asia where the states have constitutions, but the constitution does not represent the people's will. Political parties are there, elections happens, but the elections will not be defined as the true democratic elected governments. For the genuine democracies does rest in the sovereignty of the people, and definitely not the rulers. And elected representatives are also have to exercise their authority on the behalf of the people based on the will of the people. Without genuine democracy, there is no constitutionalism, and particularly one of the most important pillar of the constitutionalism is the rule of law, and the governed by the law society governed by the rule of law, where the law is applicable to all the people, all the persons, all the social and other groups, including the government, the state, the officials, the heads. Then only the democracy will prevail. We can say that democracy is the successful democracy following the principles of the constitutionalism, the institutional provisions which are made to rule of follow the rule of law, which includes particularly the separation of powers, the judicial review, the prohibition of the retrospective or retroactive legislations, having the habeas corpus, and the genuine constitutionalism, therefore, refers to the guarantee of justice, and both in the content and also in the real sense. In other words, the constitutionalism lies in the rule of law. Only when supremacy of the rule of law is there, then the supremacy of the constitution can exist, and constitutionalism thus requires effective laws and their enforcement to provide structures to the framework and the South Asian context. Within this framework, we can make an analysis of how the polities are working, political structures are working, political institutions are working, the democracy working, and what kind of freedoms and rights are provided to the people, majority or minority, and the diversities that we have in the South Asia, and the reasons for the conflict that exists in South Asia. Right, I'll end my talk here. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for waiting all along from 6 p.m. and thank you for giving us your valuable time and knowledge regarding constitutionalism, going back to all the concepts that I have read in my masters. I remembered all the things and going back to the theories of John Locke and Hobbes. And yes, it's very important to make the people feel included. So I will not waste any more time. I will just go to the question answer round. And before that, Sanjib sir, you want to uh, say something?
Heard all the experts' opinions, and this enriched our thinking process. And I hope it will contribute a lot in shaping the things in this region in the future coming days. And now we'll go for question answer session. It will be a very enriching experience for us. I expect.
If you have any questions, you can just unmute yourself.
You can go for question answer. Let's have
Okay, you can write your questions in. Please write your questions to all our three speakers. Shudhangshu sir, you have raised your hand. Do you have any question? You can write your question. If you have any question, please write. Shudhangshu sir.
If they have to ask in front of camera, then they can switch on the camera and they ask to the experts.
Yeah, they can ask the questions. You can turn on your camera and you can unmute yourself and ask questions. But be very short with your questions.
There is Ali, I think, is raise your hand, raise the hand. I think he is.
Okay, so we have one question. Ali sir, can you just indicate to which professor you are asking this question? Ali sir? Okay. Sir, we have one question for you. Sir, Om Prasad sir?
Yes, please.
Yeah, how does South Asia Republic system balance democracy and authoritarianism?
Well, that is the most important question that everyone has to look for an answer. Balancing something like authoritarianism and democracy is not possible because they are opposite to each other. The moment you talk about the authoritarianism, you're anti-democratic, and democracy, the real essence of democracy lies in the rule of law and the separation of power, whereas the authoritarianism talks about the concentration of power and the authority is above the law. And balancing these two would be possible only if the authority they take away some of those rights and beliefs in the constitution first of all, believes in the representation, believes in the democratically elected government, believes in the representative system, believes in the legislative councils, right, for decision-making process, and that would be possible only if that authority accommodates all those things, right? Without that, a balancing act is only the show cause. As I said, having political parties, having party activities does not mean there is a democracy. The authoritarian democracy is also can be seen in some parts of the country. I would not say because of the controversies that are around, but the newly formed democracies would see this kind of system where the authority would enable the parties to have the democratic activities, but the people would have the fears to raise their voice. Right? It is only on the paper that is not practicing. So practice is extremely important. Practicing democracies are extremely important. Protecting the rights of the people, protecting their voice by the separate autonomous judiciary is very important. And the autonomous judiciary or judicial autonomy, judicial independence, judicial freedom is anti-authoritarianism, right? And the independent judiciary can ensure the real democracy and ensure the people's participation without any kind of fear and any kind of fears of the violation of any other things. Right? That's what I can say.
Sir, in the extension of this question, sir, I'm just curious to know, as this age is dominated by artificial intelligence, big data, and the technology of surveillance, so how the constitution will adapt to the privacy, the right to privacy of the citizens, not just related to India. You can just give examples about the artificial intelligence, big data, and the surveillance technology.
Yeah, that is part of freedom of information and communication, where the individuals are given the right to get the information from all sources that they can have. And artificial intelligence has become the digital era has become a reality in our contemporary times, where the people have access to the information, but at the same time, the using and misusing this information becomes important for the state to put restrictions or not. If the information is misused and misused for against the fellow citizens and against the state, then that will have its implications, and that can also undermine the democratic rights and freedoms, particularly the misuse of the information, the rights, the constitutional rights which are given to the people would come in a way for healthy use of these rights. At the same time, uh, the spreading the misinformation can lead to the disintegration of the state itself. So in a way to protect, that is where the state would give the adequate space to the people to have their rights, at the same time with reasonable restrictions. That is what the Constitution says.
Thank you, sir. Sir, just one more questions I will take. Someone has asked to give some examples of AI, means the negative perspective, means once we have achieved the republic independent state, what is the negative impact of AI that we can face, which can impact a large number of people?
Well, the fake news is always dangerous, and the fake news that we come across in our day-to-day life, many people would not be having the access to whether or not to verify that news right or wrong. And when it is a fake news, and fake news have its implications, and in the modern era, particularly in the recent times, the artificial intelligence has enabled the people to use the facial structures to create and to spread rumors, right? And we have seen how certain incidents have taken and politicized, and that is extremely dangerous for the people. And it is very well known that everyone does not have the real access to check the realities, the verification, or whether to the verification tools to know whether it is a real news or the fake news, and that is a very very dangerous thing. And there, exactly there, the state would have the right to impose certain reasonable restrictions and with certain clauses that is a mandatory in order to protect the democracy and protect the well-being of the state itself.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Uh, um, Coming to our second speaker, Sabar Ahmed Chaudhary. Sir, is there any question for sir, who talked about the human rights of the South Asian nations, the civil society, the crisis, and the issues, Rohingya issues? Is there anyone who has question? Sabir sir, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, sir. Sir, there is one question in the chat box. Which republic is known for its textile industry as a major contributor to its economy? I don't know what's the relation of this question with this session, but no, you can just answer. Textile industry, I think Bangladesh is very known for its exotic
Yeah,
textiles.
the thing is, for the textile industries, especially the garments, we have a huge export in different countries of the world. And nowadays, India and China, they're also, we're competing with each other for, delivering our products. But the thing is, there one thing that we need to import use material from the Western countries, and in terms of their guidelines and designs, we need to produce this kind of clothes. So uh, cheap labor, cheap manpower is the main thing, where and some sort of expertise, because we are engaging in these fields more than 45 years. So we have some developed some sort of expertise where the buyers, they have some sort of comfort in dealing with us. But the thing is, the situation of the labor, the labor union, different sort of rights, compliance, these things in most of the cases are not, up to the mark. And government has some rules and regulations, but the implementation is the main issue, because the people, those who are engaged in these sectors, they are big players of the country. They are very extremely rich, and most of them are engaged in different political parties. So half of the men member of the parliaments, they have garment industries. So it's also difficult for the government to apply this kind of rules and regulations on them. But we hope that in the coming government, they will establish such dynamic situations that will be helpful um, to implement this kind of policies for the betterment of the laborer as well as for the industry. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Do you have any more questions for sir? You have raised your hand, Ali. Sir, do you have any question? Okay. Sir, I have one more. I have one question from you. That I was reading one article, few articles last few months about the labor of women labor in Bangladesh and a comparative study also in the South Asian nations. So I found the status of women labor, the policies are more developed in Bangladesh compared to the other South Asian nations. So do you agree to that? And if yes, then why? In, means what is the Bangladesh government is doing, which is very unique compared to the other South Asian countries. Sir, the question is for you, Sabir Ahmed, sir.
Hello. Yes.
Hmm.
Uh, I don't agree. I don't agree with the scholar who write the paper because there are different sort of ways the women laborers they're engaging themselves in comparison to maybe some other countries. The situation is different. I'm not sure because I don't have enough statistical data in front of me, but still the situation is not good because we don't have you know proper salary structure for them. We don't have different sort of holiday vacations. These kinds of things are absent there. And the maternity leave, before few years we did not have this kind of things for the um, civil servants as well. So we implemented this kind of things maybe 20 years back. So you may understand the situation for other women's there is not satisfactory. It
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Okay. Coming to our first speaker, Gulam sir.
Hello, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question with Dr. Shabir Ahmad.
Okay.
Sir, recently we have seen what happens in Bangladesh with Mrs. Sheikh Hasina. So, how do political changes in either country affect their relationship with the other country, especially with India and Pakistan? Dr. Shabir Ahmad.
uh, you were saying these things in terms of the present government, or
Yes, sir. In present government, Mr. Yunus, as you can,
uh, the
Mr.
thing is we are now passing through extraordinary situations. If you know that in the July, August, we have a movement there, specially organized by the students. And the thing is, you know that we have good relationship with different countries of South Asia before, and especially with India, we have a long-term relationship where we acknowledge different sort of um, cooperation and their contribution to the independence as well as different functioning of the country. And we always remember our Pakistani brothers as well because we have many common things, and we also have good people to people contact with the people of Pakistan as well. So after the changing scenario, the last government did not have good relationship with Pakistan. So after the changing scenario, uh, we have this present government has taken few initiatives, and it's also from the side of Pakistan government as well, especially in terms of trade and establishing people to people contact. So still we have good friends in India, and always we are keeping in touch we are also involving in different activities. So I think uh, the most important thing is now is the stability of the government. All of us is waiting for the new regime of the elected government, because this government has less, people's mandate, as well as the they don't have any bindings to ensure the democratic practice for the country. So, in our understanding, it is mostly to conduct the next election. And I think when the elected government will start their relationship with every country of South Asia, because in our foreign policy, it's written that we need to establish friendship to all, allies to none. So on depending on this philosophy, I think the government will act. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Actually, we are running out of time, so please keep your questions short. And Gulam, sir, Professor Gulam, sir, are you
Yes,
there?
yes, please.
Just
Yes, yes, I'm there.
I can see a lot of questions for you. I will start from
Welcome.
very basic.
Welcome, but it is better that questions may be asked which has a relevance,
With this.
importance, which I have delivered a talk unnecessarily if our students may ask us the same questions as we are having in classrooms, etc. So it is better that we have had some questions which has a important relevance, especially in India Republic Day. And I have one important aspect which I have left over, that in universities, when I talked about people-to-people contact, and we have developed today, this is I would like to congratulate the especially this audience, that we have created a people-to-people contact now, and now we have a collaborations. The learned audience here. Now we may have collaborations, especially academic collaborations, and the institutional collaborations. So this process will continue. Hopefully, I'm very hopeful. Especially we have initiated today on the Republic Day of India, and we are very happy also. And the Dr. Sabir's point of view also, people to people, I really appreciate this aspect which I have earlier informed to the audience, and this may continue with the India also. I would like to welcome the great people of India. I would like to invite them to have a talk, and I would like to invite them to visit Pakistan. I would like to invite them visit Pakistan's province of Sindh. I would like to visit the religious sites, especially in Sindh. I would like to invite them to visit Mohenjo-daro. I would like to invite them to have a tourism, and let us also allow us. You allow the government of India, allow me, so I may visit India with my own. So this is the only possible way that I may be allowed. The government of India may allow me. I may visit some of the institutions of Delhi. I may visit some institutions in. I would like to have a communication and talk with my students in India also. So this is my. We are very hopeful. We are very happy because this is a Republic Day of India. We are very happy, and we will solve our problems. We don't have a problem, but this is the process of talks, process of negotiations, process of learning, process of teaching, process of continuity, process of self-respect, process of communication would be continued as the learned professors today are great speakers. They have today communicated. So this process may be continued at the universities in India, that Pakistani professors may be allowed, Pakistani intellectuals, technocrats may be allowed, and Indian technocrats and professors and students may be allowed by the government of Pakistan, the government of Pakistan, and government of India. The people-to-people contact we have established. We don't have any issue with. I don't have any issue with India. I respect them. I love them. I love the people of India. I love India. the traditions, history, norms, culture, etc. And the people of India, they also love Pakistan because we have thousands of years, we have same traditions, history, norms, culture, especially historical sites. So this would be continued, Sohini, and the other audiences. I would like to love to receive the audiences from India.
So the division of the countries, yeah, the day of our independence was a wrong decision, right, sir?
Yeah,
It's
this is the we are people the will decide. The people of India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh will decide the direction, whatever direction they are going. So we have decided. The intellectuals have decided, teachers have decided, students have decided, and the and this is the way, this is the initiative, this is a way forward, that we will talk each other, we will talk on very close issues, we will talk on to help each other, we will talk on every field for the betterment of humanity, for the betterment of our youth especially. But this initiative should be continued, especially the deliverance of lectures by the university teachers. I would like to request on this Republic Day, the government of India may allow to the university teachers and professors to have a visit of Indian universities and talk to the students. And I would like to welcome you, the learned scholars today. They may visit constitutional. So I don't think so. We have a problems. I have not today highlighted the only issues today. Issues are there, but now we have to move forward. We have to have a solutions now. We have to have now no, issues. If I may have open the boxes, many boxes of issues, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 100 issues. We don't have issue. We will talk. We want to move forward, and this is the people to people and the diplomatic channels, track to diplomatic channels, whatever people say, but people to people context. And if I may be allowed to talk in the Delhi, and people talk to me, people listen to me, that I'm a Pakistani, so issues are same. In Pakistan, we have the same issues. We have a socio-economic, cultural, political. We have education problem. We have a poverty problem. We have infrastructure problem. We have a resources problem. India has also same issues. Bangladesh also have the same issues. So this is a friendship forum. India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh today may be initiated. India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh friendship forum. And today, learned audience, they joined this session. Maybe in any page, WhatsApp page, or anywhere, we may have this friendship forum, and this continues. We will continue this friendship at all forums. So if somebody had a question related to Pakistan, especially any, I would like to welcome.
Sir, I'm taking one question. Does the implementation of rules is enough for the protection of minorities in Pakistan, especially of women, and the role of local people in this aspect?
Yes, this is the what I am talking, and the since the last 90 minutes we have been discussing these issues. Then laws are there, and what is a law? Law is a moral obligation. For example, speaking truth. If a person is not speaking truth, who is responsible? This is a training of the parents. So moral obligations as a society, in Indian society, Pakistani society, Bangladeshi society, why people are not obliging to obey the rules of the state? The Constitution of Pakistan, as I told you, the Constitution of India, Article 15, Article 23, 24, 25, and fundamental articles, Article 12 to 35. Excellent constitutional articles in the Indian Constitution. Now, this is a need of time. Experts, we are interpreters of the Constitution. For example, judges are, but the university professors, teachers, technocrats, we highlight important. For example, if I may be invited to deliver a lecture on the fundamental rights of the people under the Constitution of India, the Republic of India. So this is now we cherish the legacy of the constitutionalism, the legacy of democratic culture, the legacy of the democratic norms among the people of India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and all the South Asian countries. countries. So we are very lucky. Our forefathers has given us a democratic system, which is one of the best available political system in the world. Political system. Now we are very lucky. Now it's now the I would like to sensitize our youth population in India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh, which is the 50 to 60%. For example, in Pakistan, the mainstream two political parties, Pakistan People's Party and Pakistan Muslim League Noon, they have collectively secured 25 million votes. And the youth in Pakistan from 18 to 35, they are 60 million, for example, 18 to 35. In India also, same situation would be the youth in India also, in Bangladesh also. So youth may participate in the electoral process. They, as a political student of political science, youth may also join the political parties, mainstream political parties in India, in Pakistan, in Bangladesh. A youth leadership must be highlighted, must be brought at the, and the issues of the youth must be addressed by the government of India, government of Pakistan, government of Bangladesh. I also say in the situation of current situation in Bangladesh, I would like to emphasize the current government of Bangladesh, the democracy is available there, system of democracy is there, and the people should be given the right to vote and elect their representatives to solve the problems of the people of Bangladesh. As we have a democratic culture in India, a great democracy in India and largest democratic country in the world, and we also have a same political system, although we have some situations in Pakistan, but now the situation in Pakistan, we have a democratic culture, norms, and the youth in Pakistan, academia, civil society, technocrats, we believe in democracy, culture, and we would like to initiate a dialogue with the people of India, not the maybe if government has some issues with the people of India. We have a relationship of love, we have a relationship of respect, we have a relationship of learning, we have a relationship of cultural diversity, we have a relationship of cultural similarities. So this may be continued. I'm very hopeful. I'm very happy today. I'm happy. I'm hopeful. This process will be continued, and someday after 2 or 3 years, I would be invited to visit India, New Delhi, or some city, and I would like to visit some of the scholars from India to have a talk with us at our universities and teach our students. So the constitutional, what I'm saying, the constitution has promised, and the judiciary in Pakistan, for example, recently I am joining the second international conference is organizing by Shah Abdul Latif University, and I have prepared a research article on the judicial activism in Pakistan, constitutional federalism in Pakistan, and some of the critical review of some of the constitutional cases in Pakistan. So judiciary in Pakistan recently, since previous last 1 decade, was very active, especially, and the higher judiciary even punished the elected prime ministers, and prime ministers were declared disqualified. So judiciary, Pakistan has an independent judiciary, and the constitutional provisions are there. And there are many organizations in Pakistan, especially. The issues are same. For example, the same issues are maybe facing the minorities in India also. The issues are facing some minority issues in Pakistan. Issues are there in Bangladesh. So this is a larger dialogue and initiation of dialogue, that we respect minorities. Pakistanis should respect minorities in Pakistan. Indians should respect minorities and give them their rights as enunciated by the Constitution of India, forefathers of the Constitution of India, the fundamental articles, Article 12 to 35. So constitutions are, we are very lucky. There's implementation issue. I don't think so. The situation is as worst as has been portrayed, highlighted by international media, or some of the forums, platforms in India, or some other. I assure you that minorities has their due rights in Pakistan, and they are, although they have a 3.35% minorities in Pakistan, but they have, as I told you, in representation, 37 seats in provincial assemblies, National Assembly, Senate of Pakistan. They have been reserved seats, and independently, they may, anyone from minority community, they may be elected as a member of National Assembly, member of Senate, or provincial assemblies. In Sindh Assembly especially, we have more than 10 to 15 provincial assembly members from Hindu community, from these districts of Tharparkar, Umarkot, Sangha. So these are some of the points of encouragement and betterness and betterment.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, and thanks to all the professors who joined us today. And participants, we have also joined from all the countries of South Asia and all corners of India. And we are running out of time, and we have, I know, some other plan also, commitments. And I would like to invite Dr. Rahul Mishra, the director, Dynamic Professor Group, New Delhi, India, to give the vote of thanks and end the program officially.
Yeah, thank you, Sohini ma'am. First of all, I want to thank Mr. Arijit, Global Author Publication, and Mr. Sanjib sir for organizing such an insightful session on the republics of South Asia. I also want to show my heartfelt gratitude to Professor Akbar, Professor Gudde, and Professor Chaudhary.
I'm grateful.
Who are from India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh, respectively. And such an insightful session, sir. First of all, Professor Gulam Akbar from Pakistan, Khyber Pakhtoon, and the importance of constitution and how equality, dignity, respect for the citizens are required, and how constitution plays a crucial role providing this kind of things. Then we have Professor Sabir Chaudhary from University from Bangladesh, particularly the University of Dhaka. He also talked about the constitutional crisis in recent times Bangladesh is facing, and he also talked about internet issues and various kind of protests, Rohingya Muslims, the issues which are arising because of Rohingyas and all. And the last, Professor Gudde from Jawaharlal Nehru University, New Delhi. So Professor Gudde also talked and gave some insightful reference based on Socrates and Panini. He also talked about the supremacy of law. So I think such an insightful session, such an enlightening session conducted by Mr. Arijit and Mr. Sanjeev. I just want to thank all of you. And at last, I also want to thank all our participants, all our listeners who show, you can say, patience and who are there till the end of the session. Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Rahul, thank you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you very
sir.
much. Thank you.